They're going to be live. And then you can promote your channel, of course, and get your tribe.
They're going to be like, who is this lady? And what are you doing? And how come you didn't tell us about this, Lauren?
Yeah, that's part of it too.
That's right. I'm like, well, I didn't know that I was doing it. I'm just allowing my spirit to lead me.
Okay, we are live now. We are live.
Good morning, San Francisco.
Hello, everyone. Just a little backstory why we're live today, and I'm live with the lovely Lauren B, and we'll introduce her shortly. A little backstory. I'm on Patreon. Obviously, she's on Patreon. We're creators, but we're also co-creators as well. And the whole purpose of doing this meeting or having this gathering was to have like a soul healers tribe for Patreon creators and for YouTube creators and just for artists in general. And the last 2 weeks that we have met, it's been Lauren and I. So I'm like, you know what? We're just going to,
Slacker.
yeah, we're just going to collaborate and cross pollinate, like I always talk about. And if you don't know who I am, obviously, if this is the first time watching, I am a Gen X. We were just talking about that. And a medium. I mean, I'm a soul called Christine, and I had my spiritual awakening in 2017 by, basically the 2x4 to the head, the dark night of the soul, which pretty much everyone is going through or has gone through the dark night of the soul. So what we do, I mean, myself, I do the soul readings. I work a little bit with cards, but basically all about energy and how to heal at a 360-degree level, because that's how it happened for me. But the only way to do that is to have mentors, to have people to guide you. And now Lauren, she was just saying she's 31. I'm 48, and I don't care. Like, you're never too old. You're never too young. You're never too tall. You're never too short to ever start your dream. So, and I'm about purpose.
Yeah.
And it's not what you do, it's who you are, but you got to find it. So go ahead, Lauren, and introduce yourself.
Well, hello out there to the World Wide Web. My name is Lauren. My channel is the Untitled Tarot. I'm a psychic medium. I'm an oracle. I've had my YouTube channel for 2.5 years. I've been on Patreon for over 2 years. I've done thousands of readings at this point. I love what Christine says about healing being a 360-degree journey. For me, my journey has been a little bit clunkier than that. I came into my spiritual awakening when I had a nervous breakdown when I was 20, and I had kind of wandered into the woods and screamed into the void. And one day the void spoke back, and it completely changed the course of my entire life. And I found that my gifts increased and expanded rapidly. And something that I had learned is that gifts increase with use. So as I go forward every day and every week, creating different readings and spreads for all of the zodiac signs, for all of the collective messages, something that I have become very passionate about is teaching other intuitives how to do what they do better, whether it is energy work, whether it is tarot readings, whether it is mentoring other intuitives, accessing different abilities. Gifts increase with use. And I am very proud of the fact that I've been able to create a space where other intuitives can come in and really show what they can do and build a community and build friendships, like real friendships in that. And I found Christine's group through Patreon, and I was very excited to come on and get to know her and learn from her and meet everyone else. But you know what? Everyone else, bunch of slackers. No one showed up. However, I have a Capricorn North node, and I am deeply punctual. So I've shown up every week. So obviously, maybe this was supposed to be just like a me and Christine thing. But either way, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I love that. Everything you're saying, I'm nodding my head. I'm like, yeah, we do very similar things, just in a different way. You say intuitives, I say empaths, whatever it's a know, like, and trust thing. And for me, like, I've I've been baptized. I went to church. I did all of that, but it never really stuck until I heard someone speak about it, and the way he spoke about God, it hit.
Yes.
It landed. And that's what I want other people to have, that aha moment, that epiphany. And you said nervous breakdown. I think I pretty much think I've been depressed since grade 4.
Yeah,
I can,
you have to collect like a certain amount of misery in order to become enlightened, right? It's like it's kind of a the Buddhist philosophy, but you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs. And so sometimes you gotta go around the bed.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And suffering, karma. I mean, it's all of it. But here's the thing. You can choose at any time not to suffer anymore. You can choose at any time to, cut the trauma, the ancestral wounding, all of it. Like Alberto Volodo, I love the shaman work that he does. He talks about growing a new body. He talks about the luminos, the luminous body. We are luminous beings.
Hmm.
And I'm like, yes, exactly. It's a choice. It absolutely is a choice. It's not saying, oh, get over it. Okay, address it, heal it, and rise from it.
And rise from it. Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, it's sort of the process of having to hold two truths at the same time, right? So, like, there's a part of you that recognizes that suffering absolutely can be a decision. And if you make the choice, and if you invest in your healing, and if you befriend your shadow and allow it to help you as opposed to undermining your interests, you can evolve into a level of consciousness that can supersede the ego. It can supersede suffering. But for me, the other opposing truth is the fact that we do live in a very dense world where you can, through your consciousness, rise above your suffering. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge the amount of physical suffering or trauma or systematic oppression, things that no matter how evolved your consciousness is, still exist and cause suffering for you continually as an individual, right? And so for me, and it's a way that I perceive spirituality and especially spiritual practices and service providers moving forward, I see it in evolving by way of intersectionality. I went to college for political science and foreign policy, and I minored in women and gender studies. And so I learned a lot about the importance of noticing and taking intersectionality into an account. And so I think as we evolve, the intersectionality between spirituality, mental health, systematic oppression, healing modalities, I find that we're going to see them layering more and more and more and more again, because our lives are incredibly complex. The systems that we live in are incredibly complex, as well as our culture, our belief systems, right? And we are complex as multidimensional beings with auric bodies and never-ending souls. And the only way for both of those things to exist sustainably and equally at the same time with a progressive agenda in mind is through intersectionality. So recognizing that, yes, there is true suffering in the world. And yes, we do have the ability to supersede it through healing.
Yeah. It's about responsibility and choices. And you said belief systems, they're bullshit. They're BS. So what do you believe? I hear conversations here. Well, it's genetic, or it's always been in the family, or that's how we always did it. And I'm like, I don't believe that. Um, I always challenge. I like to challenge. I'm like, no. You know what? Your ego's waiting. Your ego's waiting to just jump and say, "Oh, really? You're healed from that? I'm going to send you your mother-in-law, your ex, whatever." Like, just to say, "Oh yeah, you think you're all enlightened? Watch this."
Well, spirit will always come in and check a spiritual ego super fast, because that's what happens to a lot of people is when they get on spiritual journeys, they do a certain amount of healing, but that also relates into belief systems. As a person, unless you are a Buddha, unless you are a Stoic, you are always carrying around some type of belief system. It's just which one are you consciously and unconsciously holding. So when you go on a spiritual journey, when you go through a healing process, you can absolutely forfeit the belief systems of your ancestors, of your parents, even of your society as a whole. But you replace them with something else. So maybe that is, unconditional love and forgiveness and, autonomy and all of those other things. But if at any point your identity becomes your belief system, does that make sense? It's like you are your belief system. A belief system is something that owns you. It's not something that you hold and are willing to change. You will end up automatically sitting in ego, which is what, if you have a certain religious belief system, all of a sudden that makes you better than other people, or it gives you a license to judge. The same thing can happen when people are telling other young intuitives or people just in the beginning of spiritual paths, well, if you don't eat vegan, and if you have, if you drink alcohol, if you do any of these things, that's low vibrational and that's going to block your third eye. So I think it's so easy on these journeys and in this field to fall into spiritual ego, to allow a belief system to not be something that you're holding right now, but is always open to being changed, versus that becoming the new ego, that becoming the new identity.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, ego for me is edging God out. So anytime you're
That's
doing
beautiful.
that,
That's beautiful.
yeah, it is beautiful. And God has no religion. So
No,
no.
nobody's monopoly on God.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's so systematically ingrained in us. And that's why I love what you're doing. I'm just giving a shout out on YouTube here to Haley and Bella Soul Collective.
Hi, Haley. Hey, Bella.
She's just saying howdy, Becca from Indiana, just here to support LB.
Thanks, ladies. So we got these ladies show up to the group.
Yeah, no, they're definitely showing up. I know that
I got some good girls. I got some good girls in my school.
That's amazing. And that's exactly what we need. I mean, the age of the guru is,
oh, it's dead, and it's also disgusting.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would absolutely.
I look at gurus the same way that like Protestants look at Catholics. It's like, why do I need a middleman? Why do I need someone else to idolize and worship and serve? Like, why don't I just talk to creation myself?
Absolutely. And we were talking about the 6/6 portal. And if anybody had questions about, because it is June 6th today. And we love numbers. We love sacred geometry. We love cards. We love astrology. We love all of that. So,
whole Chex.
Sorry?
I said the whole Chex mix.
Yes, the whole Chex mix. That's a good way to describe it. So any challenges, I guess, in your community, and how can we as a collective, like all of us, because there is no age.
Yeah.
We're all the same. So how do you see us all, commingling?
So the way that I have been perceiving the energy and the shifts moving forward, and I think it's really highlighted today on the 666 alignment, it's about a need for confidence. I did an energy working this morning for my students, and it was focused on activating energies or areas that needed a bit of a confidence boost. As we were saying before we came on live, you were talking about the energy for June. It's really fresh and it really wants to spring forward into action. And I was saying that I was tapping into the same exact energy, but I was also noticing these other things that were sort of tripping people up that they forgot or they didn't realize were an impediment to them. And one of those things is confidence. It's the idea of like the Fool card in the tarot, getting right to the edge and then trying to pull yourself back because you're not entirely confident that you're going to be able to fly. And so when I was tapping into these 666 frequencies, so much of it for me was coming through about a need to refocus, about a need to reprioritize and restabilize reasons why you should feel confident, reasons why God or universe or the source has shown up for you so many times in the past, all of the reasons why you are more qualified for the thing you want to do or be than reasons why you're unqualified. And I think it's so easy, and so many of us deal with things like imposter syndrome, or fear of success, or fear of failure, or fear of embarrassment, because we live in a day and age that there is very little privacy. Everyone is everywhere and everyone can see what you're doing. It's almost like a prerequisite for being a person now, is you have to have a platform. And that can make people feel really naked and vulnerable, especially when they're trying to do new things in a new season. And so much of the energy is about overcoming the past, because there's so many reasons behind you on why it wouldn't be a good idea to try again. But if you can find that one good reason why you should try, that one reason why you should be confident, the one reason why there will be a safety net for you, even if it's just that God loves you, or the universe hasn't let you down yet, then that's enough, right? It's like in scripture, they say you only need faith the size of a mustard seed. You can find that one reason why to be confident. It will be bigger than all the rest of the stuff behind you that's telling you why you shouldn't be.
Absolutely. And you just being here is, you're already equipped. You have everything you need.
Yeah.
You have everything you need. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. So yeah, and new energy. I love, yeah, it just feels like you said, it feels fresh. And then, of course, the solstice is right around the corner. We've got that super full strawberry moon in Sagittarius. That's going to be big.
These moon names are getting out of control. They're so long. They're so long and excessive. I think the last full moon, it was like a super flower blood moon. And I was like, it's just too much. Like, it's just too much. Like, stop it. You need to stop it now.
It's a full moon and it's super. There, we're done.
They're all super. I'm really excited for the summer solstice. I'm really excited for this full moon. I just got some new like cleansing herbs, like banishing herbs. So I'm going to make like a whole thing of it for the full moon. I'm like really going to do like a big, deep clean of everything. Very excited.
Yeah, we're going to do ours by the beach, on the beach, by the ocean.
I just had, it was a couple weeks ago, we did a session on animism in my school. And so I was having a lot of the students in there work with water spirits and see kind of how they connect with them and how they channel them and how naturally comfortable they are with that element. So that's perfect.
Yeah, I love it. Just catching up on messages here. Huge pattern that she's working on. And she's saying, so true. So true. Been getting these messages. I'm down for a strawberry moon. Yeah, me too. No.
Sounds good. It sounds delicious.
It does. Who doesn't love strawberries? So I'm just, if anybody has any questions they want to shoot at myself or at Lauren, what projects are you working on? I mean, I'm ready to launch an app. That's where my Soul Healers community is coming through, and it's through passion.io. And I'm excited, and I've created a whole bunch of courses as well. I put a free one on Udemy just yesterday. So if anybody's interested in that, I'm plugging it because, I get it. People are like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend that money. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if I'm going to like that person. Well, here's your chance. Go watch a video, go take a course of someone's that's free, dip your toe in the water, and then just go for it and stop buying 10 courses and not taking anything and not doing anything. You're really putting your own obstacles in front of you.
Yeah.
Whoever needs to hear this, I understand. I mean, it's, I put money here and I put money there, but it's actually, you're putting money into yourself. So that's an investment. That's all that matters. That's how you look at it.
It's about intentional spending. It's the same thing. Anytime I spend money on like books to learn more about whatever it is that I'm interested in or doing it, or when, I pay my bill every month for, to pay for my website and to pay for all of that stuff, I don't feel angry or guilty about spending that money because it's money that I'm investing in myself, in my business, in my students. So that way I could be on the right platforms and give them the things that they need. It's just about spending your money intentionally in a way that makes you feel good, even, on the creature comforts like we were talking about earlier. But I think that the app that you're creating, I think it's all really cool. And I think it's innovative and I'm really excited for you. I wonder, can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, it's I've been hearing from my clients that, there's all this social media, like you're just being spread too thin between the clients and for myself and even, for fellow light workers and healers, where I'm hearing this a lot. So we just want to go into one space where we can access it on our phone or desktop, where we can get all the live. It's similar to Patreon, but it is, for me, I find it more accessible. It'll have everything I need that would be on my website, but it's on your phone, because I think they said 70% of people are using their phones
for everything.
Yeah, for everything. So why not make it easy and accessible, and people can start creating their own little mini communities. There'll be retreats in there, courses, as I mentioned before, and then you can put your physical products in. Um, I don't know. It's just
You've got a lot
exciting.
going on there.
Yeah, and you know, they
Big
can pay for everything through here as well. So
that's a God bless you. That is a really big undertaking. Good for you. That's awesome.
yeah, because I've tried everything. I've tried Kajabi and all those other things, and I feel like I'm pasting things together where everything is going to be done in one spot. Email, everything.
Yeah.
It's all I'm all about working smarter, not harder.
Harder. Yeah. Well, I think and when we were talking earlier before we came on live about how just to be a person these days, right? It's like you have to have some kind of platform or some kind of like social media presence to even exist, to be perceivable by others. And I think, and I never like to think of myself as a content creator because it always feels sort of funny, but then you have to look at what you're doing and you are actually creating a variety of different content for people. And I think when you're a content creator of any kind, it's about finding the spaces that you feel comfortable and investing your time in and on certain platforms, like because not everyone's going to start an app, like not everyone is this like Capricorn powerhouse that you are. So it's like for the rest of us figuring out where we want to be visible and where we want to put our work, a lot of it is through process of elimination because you will get spread too thin and you can't be everywhere all at the same time. And you definitely don't want to have the same thing copy and pasted across every platform because there's no reason for people to follow you in separate places. So you have to kind of be this social media marketing mogul to even really navigate kind of the fields of this, which is exactly why you're doing what you're doing, right? But for me, I do more by doing less. So I'm not on every platform. I don't post my content everywhere. I don't host my classes in a variety of different places. The classes that I have on Patreon, I've definitely thought about extending them to thing like live events where I could sell tickets for the thing, but that's going to spread me too thin. So even if I might take a bit of a cut and have less students, at least I get to have it all on the same place. I get to have my own community, my own ecosystem. I'm not spread too thin, especially if you're someone that has a lot of projects and things that you like to do and work on. It's easier to do more with fewer platforms than it is to do less and be all over the internet.
Absolutely. I just say, if I, you know, like yoga with Adrienne, I'll call her. I've been following her for 6 years. Find what feels good and then go with it and just go with it and create and have fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, be like the child that you were born. I mean, that's really what we're going
And
back
channel
to.
your
So,
inner Leo. And I think that's an important lesson for anyone creating any kind of spiritual content, readings, healings, whatever it may be, is that, like I said before, you do have to be this social media marketing sort of expert and you do have to post the content and you do have to do the thing. But at some point, it starts feeling like an extra business and it can be really distracting from the original work that you were trying to do. And what originally was this blessing of creation that you stepped into very easily can become a burden because it's overwhelming. And so for me, whenever I find myself in those moments where it's becoming too much like a job, or I'm not able to have as much fun, that's instantly when I pull everything back. I zoom out from my social media and I go, what am I doing here? Yes, I'm doing the posts. Yes, I'm doing the thing, but what about me? Yes, it's serving everyone else, but is it serving me? Am I having fun with it? I want people to come in. I want them to benefit. I want them to learn. I want to be of good and proper service to others. But I tell everyone that I'm kind of selfish in my job because I don't just do it to serve the collective. I do it because I like it, because it's fun for me. My work is my play. My readings are my art. I'm okay with a paintbrush, but like I'm good with a deck like that. So I like, even if no one watched, I would sit down and I would create it anyway because it's fun for me. And so whenever I feel myself too focused on the business aspect of it, I always just do a little bit of a zoom out and go, where are we not having enough fun? How is that impeding our creativity? How can we improve our quality of experience as someone that's showing up and being vulnerable and creating? And then you're just right
yeah.
back on the right foot.
Yeah, exactly. It's pulling back yeah, if you're not having fun, what's the point? What is the point? So, let's see. Psychonautica Tarot is saying it's more of a learning self-study project, but I'll see where I go with it. She's trying to unify what she's learned in a deck. Cool. Bella Soul is saying, I finally linked my email to start readings.
Good.
Yay. Woohoo. That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, just talking about the goat energy.
Capricorn. I have a Capricorn North Node. I'm Pluto in Scorpio. I find a lot of us have stelliums in Capricorn. So I have it in my North Node. I have it in Uranus. I have it in a couple other placements. Okay. I love Earth signs.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. And I guess anybody want to share like their big whale of a dream? Mine is it's a spiritual healing center for all sentient beings, and it's happening here in Ecuador. I've put it out, and people are just coming from out of the woodwork,
That's awesome.
looking for more investors. So, I'm going to help people and animals and have retreats and
I remember
grow food.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
from the first session really picking up on like you and animals and how there was a strong connection there. And it's almost like Dr. Doolittle. You have like a special Dr. Doolittle ability. It feels like you communicate with them very easily.
Oh yeah, I do. I do readings for clients that have pet issues and pets that have passed.
I love that.
Um, it's just amazing, and a lot of times it's the human.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to say that, but sorry, it's not the animal, it's you. There's something going on, and the animal picks that up. That's what they're there for. They're unconditional love.
Yeah.
They're happy, you're happy, they're happy. That's how this works.
Hmm.
So, anybody have, oh, let's see, published author. Yay, me too. Me too. I'm working on a second book because I do love to write. And then I'm helping people learn to do intuitive writing, channeling, because I think there's, people will be like, oh, oh, you're special. You can do that. I'm like, no, we all can do that.
No.
It's
It's just an ability. It's just a muscle. Right.
that's right. You got to build it.
Some people have a natural talent for something, but a natural talent, it's like an essence. It can be manifested in any way. Do you know what I mean? So like I'm a very like supportive, I'm a very motivational person. So I channel that through the spiritual arts and through my readings. But I very easily could have been a youth minister or a coach, you know what I mean, at a high school or a counselor of some sorts. When you have a natural talent, it will find a way to manifest itself, especially when it comes to, and just it's spiritual abilities, but it's really all abilities that they are muscles. If you work it, it will grow. If you build it, they will come.
That's right. That's right. Bella Soul wants to start a nonprofit dance studio as well as make spiritual poetry books. I actually know a few authors who have put out a few spiritual poetry books already. You might have to make a connection there where they do like a collaboration of a poetry. There's a bunch of authors in it. It's beautiful. That's the way to go, is to co-author, to have a whole bunch of, then people get access to, let's say 15 people they would have never thought of in one book.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm writing a modern fantasy fairy tale. Yay. I love fantasy. I love dragons. I love the Fae realm. Yeah.
Haley's the perfect person to do that.
There you go. I love that. Yeah, everyone's enjoying this. This is great. And is there anything else you want to chat about before we say goodbye? But I feel like we're just going to make this a weekly thing, or maybe bi-weekly. Well, you guys tell us what you want and we'll see.
Figure it out. We'll work it.
We'll work it. No, I think this is great. Because I have a niece who is 16, and she's a carbon copy of me at that age. She's psychic. I know she is.
Mhm.
She wants to work with tarot, but I think there's a little bit of pride in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I've offered to help her, but she hasn't. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some people are autodidacts. You know what I mean? It's like they kind of want to. Did somebody teach you how to read tarot?
No, I learned from the best on YouTube. Honestly, there's a few people I could call out. There's a consciousness evolution, and there's Chris at Minnow Pond. is very good. There's a Gregory, I can't remember his last name. There's a couple people I follow. They just, just watching. I've learned all about tarot just by watching readings.
That's a lot of people learn that way. And I think it's important, especially when you consider how many people are neurodivergent. Everyone has different learning styles. Some people like to learn all by themselves. Some people learn best by books and private practice. Some learn best in classes or in groups or by observation. When I first started, I learned a lot of what I learned from a ton of other readers. Something that I love to observe is how other readers read. That's the most interesting thing to me, is like, how do other intuitives work? Like, how do you move that energy? How do you heal that thing? How does that card speak to you in that way? It's almost, for me, it's more interesting than the reading, is kind of observing the reader and sort of watching their process. It's like watching a dancer, right? Or someone with a violin. It's like the music is beautiful, but who is this person making it? That for me is always kind of what I like. And so she'll get there. She's young. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I sit back. I don't, yeah, I don't push. And I think we talked about this too. We want people that want to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you first start out, you want to help everyone. And then there's just some people that they can't even help themselves. But anyways,
well, not everyone needs our help. And again, that's a spiritual ego thing. That's something that I learned a long time ago, is just because I see someone that is in a need or could benefit from what I have, it doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be the person to help them. Sometimes people are put in front of you so that way you can step up and help them. But sometimes people are put in front of you so you could also practice boundaries and say no. And I think when it comes to showing up and doing the work, I think that means different things for different people at different times in their life. Like some people just getting out of the bed in the morning and, just having a little bit of hope. That's putting in the work for them. Whereas other of us, we may be in, different classes and learning new things and really deeply in this process. And that's us doing the work. And so I think it's important to remember that what doing the work looks like, it can change. And not everyone is ready for a really immersive spiritual processing journey. And frankly, I don't think that everyone requires it. I think that if you are a professional spiritual worker, I think that the terms and conditions of sort of what is required of you is a lot different than someone else just trying to understand the process of self-reflection and maybe recognize that they have, spiritual support up there, and that there is a creator up there that does care about you. And I think for some people that's more than enough, and anything more than that could kind of throw them on a different end of the scale.
Mm-hmm.
So I think spirituality, like all things, it's, made per order. It's never, it's made per order. Not the same thing.
Oh yeah. No. I get it. Exactly. I mean, I think that's how we all learn when we're in business, who we're going to work with and who we're not. And that's about boundaries and not having any expectations either, because that's really just, you're going to let yourself down continually if you keep having all these high expectations. So, look, people are like, yeah, let's party together more often. We're having a party apparently. I watched Sand to Learn, and she led me to Lauren. I learned from Lauren. And then there's Water Baby Tarot.
Yeah, I learned from Water Baby Tarot.
Okay. I like the name. That's really cute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really, really important to have these discussions and just be open and honest instead of what's the word? Just BSing, or having this facade that I'm, I think those are definitely, people are seeing through that big time, the veil, the illusion.
Yeah. I think that's just a normal consequence of looking around. If you give yourself an honest look in the mirror, if you took an honest look at the world, right, you're going to start questioning some things. And it's, it's sort of like being a little kid. A little kid always asks why. Get in the car. Why? We got to go to the grocery store. Why? Because we need food. Why? And you just it's like, I call it playing 20 questions with God. Then you just look around you and you go, but why? And then next thing you know, it's like, you ask enough questions, you're going to discover some truth. You're going to discover some illusion, some distortion, some lies in there. Yeah, absolutely. But that discovery might be the thing that sets you free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From obsessive spirituality or being too 3D minded, right? It's It's all about finding that balance. I
Yeah.
always tell people you can't ascend yourself out of your humanity. And I think a lot of, at least in my personal practice, I do a form of Christian folk magic. So I work with, Jesus a lot. And a lot of it is having such a level of compassion for myself and others, realizing how easy it is for us to slip into ego or spiritual ego, or to get a little too far off, or get a little too judgmental, a little too on your high horse, or a little too mean to ourselves, right? It's the whole process. And it's not just spirituality, it's life in general. Of it's Goldilocks, right? It's like, that's a little too hot and that's a little too cold. Where do we find the middle path here that's sustainable?
Funny you say that. That's a nickname of mine, but
Goldilocks?
yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I definitely get that. Well, I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone and thank you for, being open and just going for it and riding the wave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff.
So you guys comment below, please support both of our channels. If this resonates, obviously. And if you'd like us to do more of these talks, let us know.
Let us know.